Lords and ladies, welcome to another edition of Building a Better Me. So this week we are doing a Q&A. It's all just us sitting here and talking. This has been a very hectic week because I started a Lambda School mini code boot camp, which has been kind of this crash course in JavaScript and GitHub stuff, and my brain is fried. It's been pretty full. I've got another week of it next week. We will have a regular Building a Better Me with a little bit of the mixed thing that we've been doing, you know, kind of showing our progress.
Mixed media.
Yeah, progress in learning about the breath stuff, and we'll continue on in some of the conversations, strategies to combat depression and do better. So far this week, Onome, he had recommended drinking a lot more water and eating better. The water part, I've definitely done better this week.
Good progress.
The eating thing, probably better than the week before, but still not quite up to snuff. Judah had recommended sleeping in this, and yeah, I have not lived up to that one either.
I really thought the coding would really text your brain and make you more tired at night.
It did, but I just can't shut my brain off. It's thinking about something else. We will follow up with Onome's post, and we have another long post we wanted to get to, but we're just not going to be able to get to it tonight. What tonight's episode is a lot of Q&A from our live stream last Sunday. We had some pretty good conversations. Some of this is a little bit too much information for some of you, perhaps. So you get to know. It's pretty good. But some of this was live stream questions people were asking in the moment while we were streaming. And I think some pretty constructive conversations happened. Also responding to some questions from the YouTube videos. Melissa was just taking a nap, so she's ready to go to sleep. Anything you want to add?
No.
So without further ado, here is some of the Q&A and live stream from last Sunday's Building a Better Me stream on Twitch, and we'll be having some more of that this Sunday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Tune in and join us. My only addiction is... Oh, hey, kitty.
Hey, there's the kitty.
Porn, which is why I got my depression. Sorry, Mel, to bring this up.
I know this all too well.
We're going to have a too much information portion of Building a Better Me this year. We will be talking about this. But yeah, I was a porn addict since
adolescence.
14, 13, I guess. And so I broke my addiction in October of 2007. So it's been 11 years for me. I think I'm a better person, but I'm still, I mean, look at me, I'm still not totally together. Just because you finish one addiction doesn't mean that addiction doesn't work its way out in some other way. And so, Dog Masher Pro, thank you for following. So I know that it is controversial to talk about for a lot of people. I mean, I don't want to be, to the people who are still watching it and feel like it's a fine part of their life, you know, like I don't want to come across as this Puritan, you know, judgmental jerk. I have issues with temper and rage, like have that, but at the same time I do think it's very destructive, just not only from a women's rights issue, but actually I think it's destructive to men. I honestly do. I think it's really tweaks our brains in weird ways, and 10 years later I'm still, my brain has been rewired by it. Honestly, I do really believe that. Is that normative for every person? I don't know. And that's where this gets real complicated, because human sexuality is very, very hard to understand. So I'm not going to come out and issue a 10 commandments about it, but I do think for many of us men, it is something that's debilitating. And I think addiction in general, if anything is addictive, whether it be porn or League of Legends or Dota, Breath of the Wild for that matter. Like actually Breath of the Wild, I have wasted too much time on it. I love the game, and I don't want to say that it is an addiction for anybody who plays it, but for me, I have spent too much time. But you know, you just again, moderation.
Some things are hurtful for you, like right. You should not do cocaine in moderation, right? And and this is interesting too, because like then this is not necessarily also an addiction conversation. It's just a balanced conversation. Like I love to read fiction, so for me, it's like I know when it's like, okay, I should be doing this. But you know what? I'm going to go read another chapter in my Brandon Sanderson book. Melissa's addictions are probably reading. Like, you know, when you're supposed to be doing something else, but you're doing something else. Like, and I think one of the hard things is accurately diagnosing what is the addiction. You know, like I think sometimes we
we assume it's the one thing, but really that's just the coping mechanism, and there's something else underneath it that's, I think we major on minors a lot of times, and we treat symptoms rather than roots of problems. And I really do like some of these experiments that have been done in which they have discovered that, you put the mouse into community, and they don't do the drug anymore. There are certain things that can treat addiction that are just replacements, So Gairo had this to say. I want to get to this before we run out of time. Hi, Ford and Melissa. When I started watching this video, I was swimming in the pool of drowsiness, and it's because I was tired. But then something happened. Ford hijacks my fickle attention with his pool talk. The baby steps of faith really gave me an epiphany, sort of. And my mind said, how about the little stumbles of faith? Surely we can manage that, if not even the baby steps. I feel like creating something everyone but that insidious trickster inside me shackles me with its many faces and disguises, whether it's procrastination, laziness, self-doubt, hypochondriac blues. That's good. Introverting habits, etc. I wonder, will I be able to make something out of my thoughts, or will be just eaten and haunted by them? We can't do it alone. We need one another. We need the jabs, the pushes, the stumbles of faith. P.S. Love the GoPro video montage. Heartwarming. Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do. And you even saying that, it's the improbable one this year. He said something like, if you can't stay strong, keep going.
Keep going.
That's become part of our thing now. And what you're saying right there, hypochondriac blues, like a fear of sickness. That was a big thing in my family. I rebelled and went the other way. I just eat stuff off the floor as a rebellion, And so it's given me actually a pretty good immune system up until 2 years ago. But introverting habits, like that's another one. I just want to go curl up into a ball and just cut myself off. So like you said, this great little way of saying it, not just baby steps of faith, but little stumbles of faith. Like maybe it's a crawl. Maybe it's like lifting our finger. Like for some of us, that's maybe all we can do. For some of us, it may just be not falling, Maybe it's just holding on, If you keep going, if you can't keep going, then just hold on.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's not even forward momentum. Maybe it's just a little less backwards momentum. But I think we get what I'm starting to realize this iteration of Ford in 2018 is going to be God help us, personal growth, self-help person. But I really want it to be not a BS version of that. I don't want to be a snake oil salesman. I really don't. And I want us to be able to encourage each other to just take small steps, but practicable steps. So, yeah, hopefully we can do that. I really realized when I was in India, I was basically kind of a journalist. Is what I was. And I think when all is said and done, I will end up being a journalist. I'm not the full expert in any of the fields that I talk about, but I hope to be a historian level, that when people look back and say, oh, he accurately categorized that thing. Rational dude, procrastination results in regrets and depression for me. Comparing my life with others is just as bad sometimes. And I get depressed when I worry too much about my depression.
Yeah.
Relaxing with a good chai and samosa is my immediate solution for depression, but it works only for a while.
Yes.
Hard work. And this is something I really want to talk about in this next episode of Building a Better Me, because something that, yes, I gotta clip that.
So yeah, and I think that's true. Sometimes like just having yourself a samosa and chai just to kind of collect yourself, like knowing like that's not going to be the cure, but to kind of like, okay, just collect yourself, and then step forward, keep going.
Right.
Just like, for me, it's having a cup of decaf coffee in the evening or a cup of hot tea. Like, okay, let me collect myself. Great. Now I'm ready to move on.
So I had this line. Here, just talk.
I just finished my piece.
All right, we get it.
I've said my bit. So somebody said that you should let Melissa Ma'am talk more. The problem is that sometimes I have to kind of process things before spitting out words about them. So this is why Ford talks first immediately, usually. And he always has more to say than I do. because sometimes I need to like really internally process things before I come to my conclusion or figure out what my thoughts are on something. So this is why Melissa Ma'am does not necessarily talk more. Not There are some times that I would like to say, shut up, I have something to say, but you have to kind of like wait till he finishes his bit and then say it. That's okay. It's not like he doesn't let me say it.
I start a new journal like every other week. Not that long, but I bought this one thinking this is going to be my new. It's true. In October of 2007, I wrote like this thing that would become kind of legendary for me when I had quit my porn addiction, and what I wrote that day influenced me for the next 5 years. So on October 21st of this year, I started this one, and I had assumed that my problem was something called borderline personality disorder. When I went and read the Wikipedia entry, I was like, this is me. Like, I have borderline personality disorder. And we talked to somebody, they said that I don't. I don't know. I'm still not convinced. I think I may. It just, every single thing seemed to fit in terms of the symptoms when I read it. So I was writing that day when I was talking about like what I'm going to do in 2018 to try to beat borderline personality disorder. This was back in October. I pray for refuge, for respites, but to be able to differentiate refuge from havens of addicted diversions and respites from tabernacles to sloth.
Wow.
So the idea being here, I have found so often in my life that it's the thing that seems comforting or encouraging is actually debilitating. It is like the warm blanket in the desert. You know, it's like it's like your senses are tricked and you think you're cold, and so you think you need more heat when you actually don't. You know, it's like there's sometimes what you actually need is the butt kick. Like, but it's hard to do that because you don't want to drive somebody over the edge. You know, sometimes like the butt kick will be the wrong thing. Yeah. You know, but then there are other times it's like it's the razor's edge where sometimes the butt kick just shocks you into real life. Like, and that's why going out in the cold water has been a shock. You know, it just, for guys, like if you're constantly thinking about porn too much, go jump into 45-degree water. You won't be thinking about it. Guarantee you. Rational Dude had said it works only for a while. You know, the good chai, the samosa, they only work for a while. And so sometimes these things can be havens for us and they become addictions where it just becomes a cycle. Like, I need my whiskey in order to get by. I got by, I need my whiskey. You know, so it just becomes a cycle, right? And yeah, I finally understand like why people go to the bottle, because like you get your one, it's just weird. It's like everyone has like a key, like, you know, it's their certain type of alcohol, you know, and you get that one thing and you had a good experience with it one time. And so you can just taste that taste, and you need a taste, Jimmy.
Anyway, so, but not to throw the baby out with the bathwater,
I know.
Right? So remember that, like you said, you do need respite.
You do.
Sometimes. And
you
so,
do need rest. Something I want to ask you from Ubby6 is, does gym help when I'm in depression? That depends on the person. I feel like, for me, just the fluorescent lights of the gym, the institutional feel, it does not make me feel good. I liked the gym we had in Delhi much better because it was so small. Mm-hmm. And so it felt more like it felt more like a workshop, you know? Like it was more personal. Whereas like a lot of the gyms around here, I just feel like I'm going into a institution, and institutions don't feel good for me. Yeah. So anyways, I don't know. It's different for different people. Some people it works. For me, I probably need to do my exercise outside. Mel, you married a frickin' wordsmith.
Yes.
#savage.
Yes, I did. I keep trying to encourage him in his writing. His writing is super good.
I got picked up for something that I won't talk about, but
that sounds scary.
Well, it is a little scary.
But yes.
Yeah, but so it was my first time being noticed for my writing in a long time, independent of me. So I'm going to be doing more of that for sure, and I'm going to be trying to sort through some of this stuff. So Judah, aka Wink Van Ripple, he's the co-host of the Reverse Redaction podcast. He mentioned also sleep is important in addition to water.
Yes.
Deep breathing and exercise.
And food.
Sleep is one that I'm bad about. Like last night, my mind was just racing, and I just couldn't. We joke about from Hot Fuzz.
You gotta turn off.
You just gotta turn off. Nick Frost to Simon Pegg. You just gotta shut off. I don't know how. I can show you how. By the power of Grayskull. What are you actively doing to become better? Well, I mean, you have to watch the show to find out about that. We're sharing every single thing about it on that.
There's only been 3 episodes so far, so it won't take you long to catch up.
Yeah.
So, Bacon Rehab.
And it's going to be kind of a hodgepodge. All told, it's going to be about, each episode is about 15 minutes. We're going to have 50 of them this year, so it's 500 minutes. Out of those 500 minutes, we want to cut a feature film, which it might be too long for a feature film if it's 500 minutes of raw. It might end up being a couple episodes of a more polished web series. But, patrons will get first dibs on that. And on YouTube, we'll probably release it as a film, but it'll just be ads on it. So we'll see as it happens. But I want it to not just be us sitting here talking in front of the computer. So I want it to actually be a little more consumable version of this journey. So it'll be easier to see. So you don't have to go back through 50 videos to see, how did they build a better them? Or how are they building a better them is a better way to say it. Because I don't think we're ever truly finished products. So a lot of physical changes, diet changes, habit changes.
Just try. Yep.
Professional changes. So I think trying to be comprehensive about it, though. If you're having trouble taking baby steps,
Baby stumbles.
And if you're having trouble doing that, just hold on. All right. Salud. All right. Love y'all. Have a good one.